What's sadder than how bad dating is right now is the comments on these videos that I made. Like, some of y'all are really bitter about men. Like, and it's okay, yes, there's terrible men out there, but like, what did you put up with that you probably shouldn't have put up with that made you so bitter? Because like, if I go on a bad date, I'm not going to continue to talk to the man. And I've had my fair share of bad relationships. I mean, I'm not going to go into that. But I also take responsibility that I stayed in the relationship and I ignored the red flags way beyond the point of like when I should have acknowledged and been like, no, no. Like, we can't give up hope because there are amazing men out there. I have a lot of amazing men as friends. Like, some of my closest, best guy friends are amazing men, and they're single. And I saw a video the other day by this amazing Akashic reader that I follow on here, and she was saying divine feminine energy, like us as women, are supposed to lead the union of being with our counterpart. And how we do that, how we lead these men, is by not adhering to their shitty standards. Like, this is something I'm really, really learning, and that this date I had, why I made this video, really taught me this, is like, if we just keep our standards high, all of us, okay, if every single woman on the planet didn't sleep with a guy after the first date, didn't allow for the check to be split 50-50 on the first day or any day, and communicated like, hey, I'd really like for you to open the door for me. I'd really like this. I'd really like that. Like, we gotta tell them and we gotta adhere to those standards. Otherwise, they're not gonna know. A good example from my life is this guy was like really coming on strong trying to date me and was just wanting to get me over to his house. And I was like, hey, I feel really weird about this. Like, I would prefer to meet in public, because when you ask me to meet in private, it makes me think you just want to hook up right away. And like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a committed relationship. And I think either like men just don't know this, or they think, because I think they do know this, like instinctually deep down, every single man knows what they're doing. But I think they think that that's what we want. And if that's not what you want, you need to communicate that to the man, as opposed to like ghosting them, getting mad about it, blah, 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 blah. Like, so many of us lack the skills to communicate these things from a neutral, clear-headed, like non-emotional, like logical, like place. And I had a conversation with this man. I was like, hey, I don't like that you're doing this. It makes me feel weird that you're trying to get me to hang out in private when I don't know you. I would prefer if you took me on a few dinner dates and we met in public a few times before we hang out in private, even if it's not at your house. Like, I don't know you. I want to get to know you. Take me on some dinner dates. And when I've been on the dating apps and a man has asked me on a coffee date or a tea date, and I'm like, or for a drink, I'm like, I don't drink. I prefer a dinner date. I don't do coffee dates or tea dates. I would prefer a dinner date. A coffee or tea date seems very non-committal. It seems like we're friends or colleagues. And no, you don't get my time and energy for $6 as what a tea or a coffee costs. Like, no. If you're really serious about me, you're going to take me on a dinner date and you're going to pay for dinner. That's the standards we need to adhere to, we need to stick to and communicate as women. And these men will rise to meet us there, because what other choice do they have? But we can't just get hopeless and like write them off altogether out of bitterness, because that's not going to help anything. It's gonna make things worse, okay? So anyways, some men just need to be trained. Yes, some men are shitty and stay away from them, but some men just need a little help. They need a little push. They need a little training. And I'm not saying if you're in like a toxic, abusive relationship with a man that they just need to be trained. There's no hope for that man. Do not put up with that kind of behavior. But if they're willing to listen to your feedback and take action on the feedback that you give them, what you call them out for, they might just be a great man. But you won't know until you communicate that. So that's my 2 cents on relationships and dating and how we're gonna get these men to fucking meet us where we have grown to the past few years.